you very much. And it's going to be the number 17 of Corey Seifert from Quaker City. Starting alongside of Corey will be Brady Reed from St. Clairsville in number 15. Starting third will be the 11H of Dakota Hess from Centerville, Ohio. And rounding out the first heat will be the 4C of Charity Bubick of Colliers, West Virginia. Heat number 1 of the mini wedges. We'll get them out here. Followed in second by the 17 of Corey Seifert of Quaker City. Third will be the 4C of Charity Bubick. And having all kind of problems out there, the 11H, he will finish fourth. Dakota Hess from Centerville, Ohio. Be looking for the green flag. finishing second. The 18 car is DJ Wright from Alma, West Virginia. Finishing third in the 4, Philip Mubick out of Colliers, West Virginia. And finishing fourth, Suzy Q. Rudolph from Bridgeport. Heat number 2, Mid-Vid.
Okay, the winner of the first heat in the TSMA Modified Division out of Uricksville, Ohio in the 21J. A big round of applause for John Saluka. Finishing second in the R88B is Rory Reed. Finishing third in the S64 is Jeremy Saluka out of Uricksville. Finishing fourth in the E0, Mark Enos out of Uricksville. And finishing fifth will be the 13 of Mark Sambuco out of Mount Pleasant. Okay, modified heat number 2. the pole in the 23S. Jason Stewart out of Martinsville, Ohio. Starting second in the 4J, Jim Clance out of Georgetown, PA. Starting third in the 65, Bruce Takich out of Coleraine, Ohio. Starting fourth in the 01, Denny Benjamin from Wilmot. And bringing up the tail in the 15, the Batman, Scotty Peltz out of Georgetown, Ohio. Okay, finishing fifth in the 23S, Jason Stewart out of Martins Ferry. Finishing fourth in the 65, Bruce Takich out of Coleraine, Ohio. Finishing third in the 01 machine, Denny Benjamin out of Wilmot, Ohio. Finishing second in the 4J, Jim Plants from Georgetown, PA, and your winner, the Batman, Scotty Peltz, in the number 15 car out of Georgetown, Ohio. Okay, heat number 3, on the pole in the 23M, Rob Mauser out of Tuscarawas, Ohio. Starting second in the 21R, Randy Bachneck out of Dillonville. Starting third, 17JE, J.E. Stalter out of Martins Ferry. Starting fourth, 58 of Joe Gabrielson out of Bristolville, Ohio. And bringing up the tail in the 39S, Ronnie Schmidt. Heat number 3, finishing 5th in the 23M will be Rob Mauser. Finishing 4th in the 39S, Ronnie Schmidt. Finishing 3rd in the 21R, Randy Bachneck. Finishing 2nd in the 17JE is J.E. Stalter. And your winner, heat number 3, TSMA Modifieds in the 58 machine. Out of Bristolville, Ohio, Joe Gabrielson. Jim Hess out of Centerville. In the T1, Kyle Warner out of Denison, Ohio. In the 149, Rich Desicker out of New Philadelphia. In the 77R, Glenn Ritchie out of Valley Grove. In the 10, Corey Gibbs out of Fort Washington, Ohio. And bringing up the rear in the 28, Jimmy Orr from Denison, Ohio. Finishing 4th in the number 28 out of Denison, Ohio, Jimmy Orr. Finishing 3rd in the 149 out of New Philadelphia, Ohio, Rich Desicker. Finishing 2nd in the 11H with a flat left rear tire, Jim Hess out of Centerville. And your winner, heat number 1, Super Sport out of Port Washington, Ohio, Tori Gibbs. Sam Craig out of Jacobsburg. Starting second in the 33M, Tim Rager out of Dillonvale. Starting third in the M15, Dave Holcomb Jr. out of Smithfield. Starting fourth in the 17, Dave McMillan out of Canton, Ohio. And starting fifth in the 16, Chris Seifert out of Quaker City. Okay, heat number 2, Super Sport Division. Finishing fifth in the M15 out of Smithfield, Ohio, Dale Holcomb Jr. Finishing fourth in the 17 out of Canton, Ohio, Dave McMillan. Finishing third in the 16 out of Quaker City, Ohio, Chris Seifert.
Hey, you in the blue shirt, you're not supposed to walk in groups.
Finishing second in the number 2 out of Jacobsburg, Sam Clegg. And ladies and gentlemen, your winner in the 33M. Big round of applause for Tim Rager out of Dillonvale, Ohio. And guess who finally showed up?
Featured in the 15 car from St. Clairsville, Ohio, Brady Reed. And running on the outside in the 34. And on the outside in number 4 is your point leader, Philip Bubeck from Colliers, West Virginia. And rounding out your field, big round of applause for that number 55 machine, Susie Q. Ridolph, back with us after that bout in the hospital last week. She's back out there in that beautiful number 55 machine, rounding out your field. I think that's a track photographer's neat thing out there pacing the field. I didn't know a Ford could keep up like that, but hey. Okay, bring them down for the start. Looking for the green flag. Brady Reed. Jordan down the green flag. features tonight are sponsored by Tavis Muffler. So a big thank you to Tavis Muffler for sponsoring our trophies tonight. Okay, rounding out your top five, Charity Bubeck in the 4th seed. Finishing fourth will be the 4 of Philip Bubeck. Finishing third will be the 8 of DJ Wright. Your runner-up is the 15 of Georgia gets on top of that 34J machine. Ladies and gentlemen, your winner for Paul Houghton Point in the 34J, Jordan Cody! And on the outside is the K9 of Brian King from Newark, Ohio. Inside row number 2 from Masson, Ohio, your point leader, Scotty Bush. And on the outside in a 15 from Newcomerstown is Joe Ellerick. And rounding out your field in the number 84 is Cody Krebs from Rigersville. As your field makes its way into turn number 4, green flag is in the air. Nope. That green flag is in the air. Brian King will take the lead into turn number 1. Cycle right behind Scotty Bush in third. Ellerick running fourth. Into turn number 3. Good battle for that top spot as King gets up into the fence. New race leader, the 16 of Mike Seifert. Mike Seifert, your race leader, Scotty Bush in second. Joe Ellerick runs third. Jim Coffey fourth, Cody Krebs fifth. Leader Mike Seifert. Scotty Bush not able to make up any ground on Seifert. Running second. Ellerick still running third. Coffee fourth. Krebs in fifth. Seifert get through the lap traffic to the inside. He clears one. Now making his way around Coffey. Seifert's got a clear track in front of him. Down the back straightaway another time. Scotty Bush not able to make any ground up in the 95 machine. White flag for race leader Mike Seifert. Turn number 4, your race winner, Mike Seifert. Finishing 5th will be the 28 of Coffey. The 84, I'm sorry, the 28 of Coffey was 4th. The 84 of Krebs 5th. Third will be the 15 of Joe Ellerick. Your runner-up will be Scotty Bush in a 95. Looks like we got a new player in the 4-cylinder division, driving the championship-winning car from last year. Your heat race number 1 winner, Mike Seifert. The 66 from Toledo, Ohio is Brandon Walker. And on the outside from New Philadelphia in the 14M is Greg Mazzolini. Row 2, the 45 of Robert Fronapple from Triadelphia, West Virginia. And on the outside, the 12Q of Bob Kuag from Mingo Junction. The 28 is Jimmy Orr. The 12F is Luke Freed. Green flag is in the air. Race leader Greg Mazzolini off of turn number 2. Brandon Walker just behind Jimmy Orr and Fronapple battle for that 3rd spot. Luke Freed back there in 5th. Luke Freed 5th, and Bob Kuag still out there running a 12Q machine in 6th. Halfway home for race leader Greg Mazzolini. Battle for that 2nd spot, Brandon Walker, Jimmy Orr. Battle for the 3rd spot between Fronapple and Luke Freed. Freed looks to the inside of Fronapple. Caution on the speedway. It is in the air. Battle for that 2nd spot. Jimmy Orr to the inside of Walker. Not this time. Down the back straightaway. Mazzolini still leads. Orr is going to drop to the inside again. Looking to the inside of Walker off of 4. Cars all nose to tail. White flag in the air for your race leader, Greg Mazzolini. Battle for that 2nd spot. Jimmy Orr giving Walker a little shove from behind. Caution on the speedway. Looks like the 45 of Fronapple has lost the left rear. And the checkered and caution at the same time. Okay, finishing 5th will be the 12Q of Bob Kuag. Tough break for the 45 of Fronapple. Finishing 4th, the 12F of Luke Freed, then the 28 of Jimmy Orr. In 3rd, your runner-up is Brandon Walker. And your winner from New Philadelphia, Ohio, in the 14M first heat race victory of the season, Greg Mazzolini. The X100 from Bloomingdale, Ohio, Sean Woods. And on the outside in the 83 from Rayland is Billy Wolf. Inside, row number 2 in the 14 is the wild man, Butch Newbert from Medina. And alongside from Cadiz, Ohio, in the number 33 is John Vermillion Jr. Your point leader, Mike Powell, in the 71 from Yerixville, Ohio, inside row number 3. And Sean Doddering from Cadiz in the 23 alongside. And rounding out your field in the number 80 from Martins Ferry is Rich Fronapple. 8-lap heat race number 1 pure stock division. Green flag is in the air. Sean Woods, Billy Wilt. for the 14 of Newbert off the start. Woods will be your early race leader. Battle for that second spot now. Vermillion moves up. Looking for that battle now for the lead. Billy Wilt in the 82. Sean Woods will take lap number 1. Apples all the way up to that 4th spot from the back of the pack in the black number 80. He'll take over 3rd now. Watch Apple up to 3rd. 3rd battle, Vermillion battles back to the inside. Sean Woods maintaining your race lead. Billy Wilt runs 2nd. Apple moving up to challenge for that runner-up spot. Powell now runs 4th. Vermillion back to 5th. For that runner-up spot, the 80 of Robert Throneapple. Or Rich Throneapple, sorry. Rich Throneapple, Billy Wilt battle for that 2nd spot. New 2nd place runner, Rich Throneapple in the 80. Can he run down Woods in the X100? Halfway home for the race leader, Sean Woods. Problems now for the 80 of Throneapple. Wilt will take over that 2nd spot. Powell moving up to 3rd, Vermillion up to 4th. Problems for the 80 of Rich Throneapple. Moved all the way up from the back of the pack, top right for the 80 machine. Spot. Looks like problems for your runner-up again. Billy Wilt, problems in the 82 machine. This Powell will take over 2nd, Vermillion up to 3rd now. 2 laps to go for race leader Sean Woods. Mike Powell runs 2nd, John Vermillion Jr. 3rd, Billy Wilt 4th. Butch Newbert 5th, and Sean Butter is still out there in the 23 machine. Turn number 4, white flag in the air for Sean Woods. Off the turn number 4, your race winner is going to be Sean Woods. Limping home to finish 5th will be the 14 of Butch Newbert. Or 5th, yes. Limping home to finish 5th is the 14 of Butch Newbert. Finishing 4th, also limping home the 83 of Billy Wilt. Finishing 3rd to 33 of John Vermillion Jr. Your runner-up was the 71 of Mike Powell. And your winner from Bloomingdale, Ohio in the X100, Sean Woods. Sean Newbert will be on the pole. On the outside in the R34, Rex Throneapple from Martins Ferry. Row number 2 is the 62 of Bob Scott from New Philadelphia, Ohio. And the outside of row number 2, also from New Philadelphia, Ohio, is the 61 of Justin Van Fossen. Wow. Is that the 43 of DJ Juarez out there? It sure is. After a nasty looking X number 2 machine, green flag is in the air. Caution on the speedway. Flag is in the air. Turn number 1. Your race leaders, Bob Scott in the 62 62. Rich Schweitzer takes over that second spot. Van Fossen runs third. DJ Juarez fourth. Lap number 1, Bob Scott, your race leader in the 62 machine. Good battle up front. Bob Scott in the 62. Rich Schweitzer will swing low now. Scott will maintain the lead by about a nose. Good battle for that top spot. Schweitzer to the inside, Scott to the outside. Schweitzer will slip up in turn number 1. Scott will inch out in front now by about 2 car lengths into turn number 3. Van Fossen right there in third. Juarez right there in fourth. Top 4 cars right together. Schweitzer in the 84. 4 laps in, 4 to go. Who's going to lead this time? Ooh, almost a dead heat. Bob Scott, but just by a nose. Through turn 2, down the back straightaway. Scott's got the momentum on the outside. Schweitzer to the inside. Bob Scott doing a whale of a job his first night here at 250 Speedway in the 62 machine. Looking again to the inside, just a piece. Scott will now drop to the bottom of the racetrack. Off of turn number 4, Schweitzer trying the bottom again. Bob Scott still your race leader with 2 to go. Off of turn number 2 now, Schweitzer with a little bit of momentum. Scott shuts the door into turn number 3. Good battle up front. Off of turn number 4. Schweitzer's going to get it this time. Rich Schweitzer. Flat right rear on the 62 machine. Tough break for Bob Scott in the 62. As the 43 of Juarez will take second now. Justin Van Fossen will take third. Off of turn number 4, your race winner, Rich Schweitzer. Break for the 62 of Bob Scott, first time at 250 Speedway in that 62 machine. He put on a whale of a show. I thought he was going to pull it off. Got a flat right rear coming off of turn 4, coming to the white flag. So he will finish 6th. Finishing 5th will be the 2 of Dustin Warner. Finishing 4th will be the 61 of Justin Van Fossen. 3rd will be the 43 of DJ Juarez. Oh, I'm sorry. DJ Juarez will be your runner-up. I'm all screwed up. Sean Newbert will be 5th, I believe. Okay, who's 5th? Man, I'm all messed up. Okay. Dustin Warner's 5th. Sean Newbert is 4th. Van Fossen is 3rd. DJ Juarez is your runner-up. And your winner is the 84 from New Philadelphia, Ohio, Rich Schweitzer. You'll have to excuse me. I was late. Row number 2 all the way from Bristolville, Ohio, Joe Gabrielson in the 58. And Rory Reed in the R88B from Worcester, Ohio, outside row number 2. Row 3 from Georgetown, Pennsylvania, Jim Lance in the 4J. And the Martins Ferry Nicer, J.E. Stoller from Martins Ferry, Ohio, on the outside row number 3. Row 4, the S64 from Yorksville, Ohio, Jeremy Sluka. And the 01 from Wilmot, Denny Benjamin. Row 5 is the 21R of Randy Bachneck from Dillonville, Ohio. And the E0 of Mark Enos from Yorksville. The 65 is Bruce Packosh from Coleraine. The 23S is Jason Stewart from Martins Ferry. The 13 is Mark Zambuco from Mount Pleasant. The 53 is supposed to be Dave McNabb from Valley Grove. The 23M is Rob Melzer from Tusky. And waiting to see if we're going to get McNabb or Schmidt. Okay, everybody, put your hands together, wave your hats, give your field a salute. They're waving to you out there, so make sure you let them hear you. Hands are in the air. 20-lap modified feature. John Sluka, the Batman, Scotty Pelt, Joe Gabrielson, and Roy Reed, your front two rows. We'll see what happens this time around as your field makes its way down the back straightaway into turn number 3. Looking for chief starter Keith Decker's green flag. Green flag is in the air. Caution on the flag is in the air. Is in the air. Finishing 5th is the R88B of Rory Reed. 4th is the 65 of Bruce Takosh. 3rd is the 58 of Joe Gabrielson. Your runner-up was John Saluka. The 15 is Scotty Peltz doing the Polish victory lap. As he'll come around and hit winner's circle, we'll get a word with him in a minute. In the Kedwood Vinyl and Signs Custom Graphics sponsored number 15 machine, your TSMA modified feature winner from Georgetown, Ohio. Let them hear it, fans. The Batman, Scotty Peltz. Lieutenant Tori Gibbs from Port Washington, Ohio, alongside from Dillonville in the 33M is Tim Rager. Row number 2 is the 11H of Jim Hess from Centerville, Ohio, and the number 2 of Sam Clegg from Jacobsburg. Row number 3 is the 28 of Jimmy R. from Denison, Ohio, and the 16 of Chris Seifert from Quaker City. Row 4, the 77R of Glenn Ritchie, and the 17 of Dave McMillan from Canton, Ohio. Rounding out your field, the T1 of Kyle Warner from Denison, Ohio, the 149 of Rich Desecker from New Philadelphia, and the M15 of Dale Holcomb Jr. from Smithfield. Sport feature, green flag is in the air. Tori Gibbs in second, Sam Clegg runs third, Jim Hess fourth, Chris Seifert in fifth, Dave McMillan, Glenn Ritchie, Rich Desecker, Kyle Warner. all four cars. Flag in the air. Finishing fifth will be the 77R of Glenn Ritchie. Fourth will be the 11H of Jim Hess. Third will be the 2 of Sam Clegg. Your runner-up was the 10 of Tori Gibbs. And your winner in the stall, trucking and excavating, Mingus Signs, Quick Time Performance Parts, sponsored number 33M from Dillonville, Ohio, Tim Rager. Mike Seifert from Quaker City, Ohio, alongside the 14M of Greg Mazzolini from New Philadelphia, your heat race winners. Row number 2 is the 95 of Scotty Bush from Massillon, Ohio, and from Dover, Ohio, the 66 of Brandon Walker. Row number 3 is the 15 of Joe Elric from New Cumberstown, and we'll have to wait on Jimmy Orr in the 28 as he will start outside row number 3. The 84 of Cody Krebs from Rigersville inside row number 4, alongside the 12F of Luke Freed. Lucas from East Canton, Ohio. The 28X is Jim Coffey from Sherrottsville. The 12Q is Bob Quagg from Mingo Junction. There's Jimmy Orr. The K9 is Brian King, and the 45 is Robert Fronapple. In the air. Speedway. Flag is
flag is in the air. Down the back straightaway. Seifert in second, Bush in third, Walker fourth. Off of turn number 4, lap number 1 is going to go to Greg Mazzolini. Mazzolini, Seifert, and Scotty Bush all right there. Mazzolini stretches out the lead just a little bit. Seifert will inch ahead. New race leader Mike Seifert in the 16. New race leader, Greg Mazzolini second, Scotty Bush third, Brandon Walker fourth, Jimmy Orr rounding out your top 5. For Mike Seifert. Greg Mazzolini in second, Scotty Bush in third, Brandon Walker fourth, Jimmy Orr fifth. Going to be Mike Seifert. Finishing fifth will be the 28 of Jimmy Orr. Fourth will be the 66 of Brandon Welker. Third will be the 95 of Scotty Bush. Your runner-up will be Greg Mazzolini. And your winner from Quaker City, Ohio, in the number 16 machine, Mike Seifert. Of New Philadelphia's Rich Schweitzer on the front row. Row number 2 is your point leader Mike Powell on the 71 from Yorksville. And DJ Juarez from Wheeling, West Virginia in the 43 alongside. Row number 3 is the 33 of John Vermillion Jr. from Cadiz, Ohio. And the 61 of Justin Van Fossen from New Philadelphia. Row number 4, in the number 83 machine from Rayland is Billy Wilt, and the 73 of Sean Newbert from Medina, Ohio. Row 5 is the 14 of Butch Newbert, and the 2 of Dustin Warner. Rounding out your final 2 rows, the 23 of Sean Daughtery from Cadiz. The 62 of Bob Scott from New Philadelphia, Ohio. The R34 is Rich Fronapple from Martinsbury, and the 80 is Rich Fronapple from Martinsbury. And also Bob Scott pulls to the infield. Green flag is in the air. Sean Woods, Rich Schweitzer. The completion of lap number 1 is going to be Rich Schweitzer. DJ Juarez in second, Sean Woods in third, Justin Van Fossen in fourth, Mike Powell in fifth. Is in the air. Battle for that second spot. 3-way battle. Juarez, Woods, and Van Fossen. 3-way battle for the runner-up spot. Schweitzer still leading. Retaining wall on the back straightaway. Woods putting a little squeeze job on the 61 machine. Schweitzer, your race leader. Juarez still runs second. 1-2, break it away just a little bit from the left of the back. Fossen will look to the outside of the X100 once again, off of turn number 2. Van Fossen's going to take over that third spot. Now the 70 on the Powell will move up to the fourth spot. Woods has his Powell right there. Now separate themselves. Schweitzer out in front, Juarez runs second, and Van Fossen third. for the fifth spot. Woods, Powell, and Frohnapple. The 71 of Powell now up to that fourth spot. Woods back to fifth. Frohnapple looking to take over that fifth spot on the outside. He will do it. Woods back to fifth now in the M100. Second, Van Fossen third. White flag in the air for Rich Schweitzer. Turn number 4, Rich Schweitzer is your feature winner. Another good job by your pure stock division. Only one caution on lap number 2. Finishing fifth will be the 71 of your point leader, Mike Powell. All the way from the back of the pack to finish fourth is the 80 of Rich Frohnapple. Finishing third is the 61 of Justin Van Fossen. Your runner-up was the 43 of DJ Juarez. And your winner in the PringlePhotography.net Kid Pringle Graphics, Austin, Branson, and Kale sponsored number 84 from New Philadelphia, Ohio. It's the digger, Rich Schweitzer.
Given the green flag to stand by. Third time's a charm, looking for the green flag. Okay, modified heat number 2. On the pole in the 23S. Jason Stewart out of Martins Ferry, Ohio. Starting In the 4J, Jim Plants from Georgetown, PA, and your winner, the Batman, Scotty Belts, in the number 15 car out of Georgetown, Ohio. Okay, heat number 3. On the pole in the 23M, Rob Mauser out of Tuscarawas, Ohio. Starting second in the 21R, Randy Bachneck out of Dillonville. Starting third, 17JE, J.E. Stalter out of Martins Ferry. Starting fourth, 58 of Joe Gabrielson out of Bristolville, Ohio. And bringing up the tail in the 39S, Ronnie Schmidt. Jim Hess out of Centerville. In the T1, Kyle Warner out of Denison, Ohio. In the 149, Rich Desicker out of New Philadelphia. In the 77R, Glenn Ritchie out of Valley Grove. In the 10, Corey Gibbs out of Port Washington, Ohio. And bringing up the rear, the 28, Jimmy Orr from Denison, Ohio. finishing fourth in the number 28 out of Denison, Ohio. Pretty good battle up front there with Gibbs and Hess till Hesse cut down a tire. Managed to keep it on the tractor and finish second, so all was not lost. Okay, heat number 2, starting on the pole in the number 2 machine. We were looking for the green flag.
number 4 is your point leader, Philip Beck from Colliers, West Virginia. And rounding out your field, big round of applause for that number 55 machine, Steve Rudolph. That's what we're talking about down at the hospital last week. He found out there in that field for number 55 machine rounding out the field. Okay, bring them down to the front, looking for the green flag. I think they threw a curveball on me again. We got the 4 cylinders out there. Okay, heat race number 1 on the pole is going to be the 16 of Mike Seifert, and on the outside is the K9 of Brian King from Newark, Ohio. Inside row number 2 from Masson, Ohio, your point leader, Scotty Bush. And on the outside in the 15 from Newcomerstown is Joe Ellerick. And rounding out your field, in the number 84 is Cody Krebs from Rigersville. As your field makes its way into turn number 4, green flag is in the air. And Brian King looking for the green flag is in the air. Brian King will take the lead into turn number 1. Seifert right behind Scotty Bush in 3rd. Ellerick running 4th. Into turn number 3. Just battle for that top spot as King gets up into the fence. New race leader, the 16 of Mike Seifert. Tough break for the K9 of Brian King pulling pit side after taking the early lead. Seifert, Bush, Ellerick, Coffey, and Krebs. Last down, Mike Seifert, new race leader, Scotty Bush in 2nd. Joe Ellerick runs 3rd. Jim Coffey 4th, Cody Krebs 5th. Scotty Bush not able to make up any ground on Seifert, running 2nd. Ellerick still running 3rd. Coffey 4th. Krebs in 5th. Get through the left traffic to the inside. He clears 1. Now making his way around Coffey. Seifert's got a clear track in front of him. Down the back straightaway another time. Scotty Bush not able to make any ground up in the 95 machine. White flag for race leader Mike Seifert. Finishing 5th will be the 28 of Coffey. The 84, I'm sorry, the 28 of Coffey was 4th. The 84-6. And heat race number 2. On the pole, the 66 from Dover, Ohio is Brandon Walker. And on the outside from New Philadelphia in the 14M is Greg Mazzolini. Row 2, the 45 of Robert Frohnapple from Triadelphia, West Virginia. And on the outside, the 12Q of Bob Kuag from Mango Junction. The 28 is Jimmy Orr. The 12F is Luke Freed. Green flag is in the air. Race leader Greg Mazzolini off of turn number 2. Brandon Walker just behind Jimmy Orr and Frohnapple battle for that 3rd spot. Luke Freed back there in 5th.
race leader Greg Mazzolini. Second is still Brandon Walker. Jimmy Owen third. Robert Fronapple fourth. Luke Freed fifth. And Bob Kulag still out there running his 12Q machine. In sixth. For that second spot, Brandon Walker, Jimmy Orr. Battle for the fourth spot between Fronapple and Luke Freed. Looks to the inside of Fronapple. Caution on the speedway. Bob Kuag, green flag is in the air. Battle for that second spot. Jimmy Orr to the inside of Walker. Not this time. Down the back straightaway. Mazzolini still leads. Orr is going to drop to the inside again. Looking to the inside of Walker off of four. Your front five cars all nose to tail. White flag in the air for the race leader, Greg Mazzolini. Battle for that second spot. Jimmy Orr giving Walker a little shove from behind. Caution on the speedway. Looks like the 45 of Fronapple lost the left rear. And a checkered and caution at the same time. Okay, finishing fifth will be the 12Q of Bob Kuag. On the pole in the X100 from Bloomingdale, Ohio, Sean Woods. And on the outside in the 83 from Rayland is Billy Wilt. Inside, row number 2 in the 14 is the Wild Man, Butch Newbert from Medina. And alongside from Cadiz, Ohio, in the number 33 is John Vermillion Jr. Your point leader, Mike Powell, in the 71 from Yerricksville, Ohio, inside row number 3. And Sean Dottery from Cadiz in the 23 alongside. And rounding out your field in the number 80 from Martins Ferry is Rich Fronapple. 8-lap heat race number 1 pure stock division. Green flag is in the air. Sean Woods, Billy Wilt. Problems for the 14 and Newbert off the start. Woods will be your early race leader. Battle for that second spot now. Vermillion moves up. Looking for that battle now for the lead. Billy Wilt in the 82. Sean Woods will take lap number 1. Fronapple's all the way up to that 4th spot from the back of the pack in the black number 80. He'll take over third now. Watch Fronapple up to third. Good battle. Vermillion battles back to the inside. Sean Woods maintaining your race lead. Billy Wilt runs second. Fronapple moving up the challenge for that runner-up spot. Powell now runs 4th. Vermillion back to 5th. Good battle on the racetrack for that runner-up spot. The 80 of Robert Fronapple. Or Rich Fronapple, sorry. Rich Fronapple, Billy Wilt battle for that second spot. New second place runner, Rich Fronapple in the 80. Can he run down Woods in the X100? Halfway home, race leader Sean Woods. Problems now for the 80 of Pineapple. Wood will take over that second spot. Powell moving up to third, Vermillion up to fourth. Problems for the 80 of Rich Pineapple. Moved all the way up from the back of the pack, top right for the 80 machine. Now it looks like a battle for that second spot. Looks like problems for your runner up again. Billy Wilt, problems in the 82 machine. Is Powell will take over second, Vermillion up to third now. 2 laps to go for race leader Sean Woods. Mike Powell runs second, John Vermillion Jr. third, Billy Wilt fourth, Butch Newbert fifth, and Sean Daughtery still out there in the 23 machine. Off turn number 4, white flag in the air for Sean Woods. Finish fifth will be the 14 of Butch Newbert, or fifth, yes. Limping home to finish fifth is the 14 of Butch Newbert. From Martins Ferry, row number 2 is the 62 of Bob Scott from New Philadelphia, Ohio. And the outside of row number 2, also from New Philadelphia, Ohio, is the 61 of Justin Van Fossen. Wow. Coming out your field, Dustin Warner in the number 2 machine. Green flag is in the air. Oh, shit. Row number 3. Off to turn number 4, Bob Scott. Green flag is in the air. With 73 of Newbert into the wall up in turn number 1. New race leaders Bob Scott and the 62. Rich Schweitzer takes over that second spot. Van Fossen runs third. DJ Juarez fourth. Lap number 1, Bob Scott. New race leader in the 62 machine. Good battle up front. Bob Scott in the 62. Rich Schweitzer will swing low now. Scott will maintain the lead by about a nose. Good battle for that top spot. Schweitzer to the inside. Scott to the outside. Schweitzer will slip up in turn number 1. Scott will inch out in front now by about 2 car lengths into turn number 3. Van Fossen right there in third. Juarez right there in fourth. Top 4 cars right together. Scott in the 62. Rich Schweitzer in the 84. 4 laps in, 4 to go. Who's going to lead this time? Ooh, almost a dead heat. Bob Scott could just